Hey guys, I want to talk about revenge served cold. And I'm going to just ask you a pointed question. When was the last time you dealt with someone intentionally hurting you? And you're dealing with how to, first and foremost, you want to say, hey, that wasn't cool, and how dare you, and this and that. And you're hoping to possibly confront that person, get them to admit, acknowledge, and then apologize. And that, I'm telling you right now, when you're dealing with someone who, can I say, is, I'll just say, an evil person, someone that is not from above, you're not ever most likely going to hear an apology unless they're trying to save face in front of other people. And so I'm telling you, it is got to be one of the most challenging situations, because not only are you left reeling and dealing with the ramifications of their actions, sometimes at night you think, well, how can I get back at this person? Do I expose them, or do I confront them? Or there's a myriad of things. In fact, there's shows about revenge and movies about revenge, when someone's family is taken out by a serial killer and they plot revenge against them. And I think isn't Dexter a show where he goes after individuals who cause harm? Don't get me wrong, I don't watch it because I saw like 5 minutes of it and scared the ever-living out of me. So that's kind of stuff I'm talking about. In the military, I was sexually assaulted by a fellow soldier, and I said I'll deal with it later because I was engaged, and it was my then fiance's best friend, and I knew he wouldn't believe me, and the military wouldn't believe me, and because they hadn't believed what I told before when I was sexually harassed while serving on active duty. And so I lived with it, and I don't remember ever wanting to get revenge on that person. I had children and I was moving on with my life. I just wanted to forget about it. And so after many years, I was by myself, and I thought, well, I gotta find this person and I gotta reach out because I need them to confirm, and I would like an apology. And that didn't happen. It did not. But I did some digging and found out a year after he raped me, he went on to rape someone else. He did serve 9 years in prison. From what I heard, the prison sentence wasn't easy. So all I can say is I'm fortunate that my perpetrator was brought to justice, even if it wasn't through my assault. And so what do we do? What do we do when we get caught up and we think, I want to get back at this person? And I'm going to let you know, as someone told me this, the more you delve into getting revenge, the more that person is allowed to continue perpetrating the crime that they committed through your mind, body, soul, and spirit, because every single ounce of you, ounce of energy, is put into the what if I do this, and what if I do that, and what if I flatten their tires, what if I get caught? Chances are you will get caught, because my perpetrator is released from prison for many years now. I think, I don't know, since 2009 maybe. So what, 16 years? I think, don't get me wrong, I'd have to look at the court records, but let's just say he's been living in pretty much without a mugshot being made available for many years. So what am I going to do? So it just so happened that I found his information. I went to Fort Lewis 6 years ago. I went back to Fort Lewis because I wanted to wrap up all my loose ends, and I wanted to go to the scene of the crime, go in that apartment and face my greatest fear, which was going back to the very room my assault took place. So I flew to Washington State. I was in the area. He didn't live in the Fort Lewis area. He lived a couple hours away. And so I'm there, I'm stewing, and I thought, well, I'd like to go and knock on his door. And I had been in touch with local law enforcement and Lakewood Police Department, and I said, am I allowed to go knock on this person's door? And they said, if you want to. And nothing was preventing me from knocking on his door and saying, hey, it's me, I need to talk. But then I talked to my friends, and they said you shouldn't do it, simply because you just don't know how he's going to respond, and if he has a gun or if he's going to retaliate, etc. And so I ended up not going. And it took every ounce of me to not proceed. I think most of us just want answers. They need confirmation. Yes, this did happen, because when it's been 30 years after an assault, it's still fresh in your mind. But if there's only one other person that can confirm, you need confirmation. It's you'd like confirmation. And then the number two, you need to know why. And then last but not least, a genuine apology. And that for me did not happen. So now what? Now you're living in limbo, and instead of seeking revenge, what do you do? I said, well, counseling is very important, but number two, most important thing is to go to counseling, get therapy, give it back to them by forgiving. And then your next most important step is to live your best life and wear that as a badge of honor, to say, this happened. And you might have murdered who I was that night, but you are not going to steal the rest of my life. So I did not get answers. He never confessed. He never apologized. But I can tell you today, because of therapy, because of friends, because of my faith, because of God, I'm sitting here today. And I will never, ever, ever seek revenge. And after this, I may or may not talk about it, depending if I know that my experience can help someone else. I will talk about it again. But anyways, that's what I wanted to say. Please don't seek revenge. Please talk to someone. Please work through it. And please, my idea is forgive, is just give it back to them. Don't carry it. You don't deserve to. So anyways, that's all I've got, and I'll be back.